Couldn't answer, so that's why I gave a statement. Do you agree that the same Social Security number was used on at least 20 different CHNV supporter applications?
So first, let me start by saying...
So these are yes/no questions. So yes or no?
I just want to make clear that the role that USCIS plays is on the supporter side.
And I'm asking about supporter applications.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question then? I heard it as the parolee.
No, the same Social Security number was used on at least 20 different CHNV supporter applications. That's the question I asked.
Sorry.
You're aware of that?
Yes, I am very aware.
That happened at least 3,200 times.
I don't have the exact number.
That's according to DHS's report.
Okay.
You don't dispute DHS's report.
No, I absolutely will not.
And also the same phone number was used on at least 20 different supporter applications, at least 3,300 times. That's according to the report. Do you agree that that report's accurate?
I don't have that report in front of me, but
I'm reading from it.
I won't dispute. Yes, but I don't have it in front of me, and I would prefer.
So you would dispute it?
No, I'm not disputing what I am saying.
So you would deflect and ramble around. You don't disagree with that number. You don't think I'm deliberately cherry picking number and just saying, oh, I'm just throwing this stuff out. I'm giving you the numbers from the report. Do you trust me on that? Do you at least trust me that far?
Yes.
Okay, so then you agree with that number. The same email address was used on at least 20 different supporter applications, nearly 2,000 times. You agree with that?
Sir, if there is a situation where we have concerns of fraud and integrity, we take action at USCIS, and that is exactly what we have done with regard to CHNV.
So let's clarify here. So I'm laying foundation, and you don't really want to admit that there's this much rampant fraud here. You're trying to tell me that when you find fraud, we cure it, and yet nearly 2,000 times you had the same email address used on 20 different supporter applications. The same exact 184-word text response to a question on the supporter application was used on more than 1,800 such applications by nearly 190 different CHNV supporters. More than 460 non-existent zip codes were used on supporter applications on behalf of more than 2,800 CHNV aliens. So you see, you can dance around and say you don't have the report in front of you and whatnot, but these are the facts. This program is rife with fraud. As of August 6, 2024, DHS had approved more than 80,000 CHNV supporters who were in the U.S. on a temporary basis.
So I think moving forward, any politician like this needs to have a bond issued by an insurance company. So if they do this kind of stuff, there's an insurance company that the United States people, the American people, can go against. And what will happen then, of course, is the insurance companies will be willing to keep real good records on what the people are doing that they're insuring in order to make sure the premiums are adjusted accordingly to the people that are doing bad things. Does it make sense to you? It certainly makes sense to me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Panelists. Let me just go right down the line real fast. What % of our atmosphere is CO2? Take your best guess. You don't have to be accurate. All down the line.
Repeat that question.
What % of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide? Wild guess. It's okay.
I'll bite 5%.
5?
I'll just follow you then.
We'll go 7. That's my favorite number.
I'll see their 5 and suggest that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on energy transition.
All right. So what number do you think it is?
5.
5? How about you? I didn't hear you, Mr. Dreher.
7.
7. Did you have one, Mr. Boyd?
So we got a 5, 7.
This Price is Right.
8. I'm going to hit the high end.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I don't mean to put you on ice. I ask a lot of people that because all we hear is climate change, CO2. I heard a couple of you on the panel saying, You're looking to change your vehicles to electric, even though we don't have the electric grid. And me as a farmer, I wouldn't be real happy about running out and replacing $300,000, $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment because someone wants it to be electric. The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not a half of a percent. It's 0.04%. And it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying off. So
President Trump files multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against CBS, 60 Minutes, and Paramount. They did everything possible to illegally elect Kamala, including completely and corruptly changing major answers to interview questions. They should lose their licenses. I agree.
Went off at a point that was high enough to prevent people trapped above from escaping. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed described the design of planned attacks on buildings inside the U.S. and how operatives were directed to carry them out. The explosives went off at a point that was high enough. The explosives went off to prevent people trapped above from escaping.
Do I think 9/11 is going to be the biggest scandal in our lifetime and beyond? Yes, I think it's going to be the biggest scandal in the history of America because it occurred on U.S. soil and because it is so recent that we have relevant information still available.
Right, that's right.
We have recorded information. We have personal information. Once people realize they can talk and not be afraid of being killed or not being afraid of being ostracized. And you know what gets me is reporters who call people conspiracy theorists. Well, that's all the agency does.
I know.
They're the ones that create the conspiracies.
I'm aware.
I mean, cut me a break.
I'm aware.
They have whole courses for their agents on how to make people look like they're conspiracy theorists.
And the propaganda operations designed to discredit.
Exactly.
Right. And
so all we want is the truth.
Of course.
So Trump, appoint people of impeccable integrity. Let them study the facts. I will testify under oath everything I know about intelligence. Let these 3,000 architects who are risking their careers, making nothing, let them testify under oath. There has been this subtle pressure to the firefighters and to the officers not to talk for obvious reasons. You know what this involves politically. And look what happened to the chief of L.A. The female chief of L.A. comes out and says that the resources were taken away from her for the field forest fires. And what does the mayor do? She fires her. That was just a few weeks ago. The firefighters are always a scapegoat. That's why, Tucker, I'm done with this. If it's the last thing I do, firefighters are not going to be taken for granted anymore. We're going to rise up. We're going to shake the country to its roots. So, firefighters are not second-class citizens.
Well, they certainly shouldn't be.
But if they talk, they'll get sidelined. They'll be called crazies. Even though they heard explosions, they can't be allowed to say that.
They heard explosions?
Yeah, absolutely. It's on tape. Well, we have people coming out of the buildings that heard explosions. We have film footage of people that talked to Fox News that was taken off the air and then now that was brought back by X. That's all available. That's why you need a commission to go back and look at all the lies.
So there are, and pardon my ignorance, but there are people on tape saying I heard explosions.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. They're the only high-rise buildings in the world that have ever come down from an airplane hitting them. And those buildings, I read the report from the architect who designed them. They were designed to withstand an airplane hitting the building and standing tall.
And especially Building 7, which had no plane hit it. Right.
No plane hit it. And the building just, you can see it when you watch it on TV, it just implodes straight down. And what really got me again was Oriole Palmer, the battalion chief, arising on the...
Well, tell us who he was. What is...
Okay, Oriole Palmer was one of the most inspirational battalion chiefs in New York.
At FDNY.
FDNY, who immediately, in very good shape, had a family, a couple of kids, went into the building as soon as they got on the scene, took the elevator up to the 40th floor, got off the elevator, and you can hear him on the comm system say, I'm here, 40th floor, we're going to start walking up the stairwells. Every 5 floors, he radios back to communication. I'm on the 50th floor. Everything's okay. We're on floor 60. Everything's okay. He's going up. Every so many floors, he gives a report. He reaches the 78th floor, the floor of impact. He comes out of the stair tower, and as clear as you listening to me here, and I know I get passionate, and I apologize to your listeners for that, he says, we're on floor 78, the floor of impact. We've got 2 fires. and we can handle them. 1 minute later, the whole building collapses. That's not normal. That is not acceptable. That is not what happened.
And this is on tape?
It's on tape.
You had 3 buildings come down, sort of collapse in on themselves, implode, it looked like. And like a lot of people have said, many credible, non-crazy people have said that was controlled demolition. Was it?
Well, when I got up there the day after, I had been in the Trade Center at the restaurant on the top several times. There's no way those 2 buildings could have collapsed into what they were there.
Folks, are you starting to pick up on the pace of information coming out and just how damning this information is? Well, big things are happening. And I think this big change is going to happen on April 20th, which is Easter Sunday. What are you talking about, Ted? The 40-hour work week is being reduced down to 32 hours. President Trump wants all of us to spend more time together. Isn't that nice? And speaking of spending more time together, that's what we're doing right now. We're building a community. Now, Margaret Ann and I start working on the program for tomorrow. I'll start working on that at 6 o'clock tonight. I have contacts around the globe that are sending me stuff, and they're sending me stuff right now. So I work on the show from 6 o'clock until about 10 o'clock. And I go to bed from 10 o'clock, maybe to about 12:30 or so. 12:30, get back up again, and I'm running right now. That's it. And we run straight through, and I'll take a little nap or whatever. We have some TEDs coming over for lunch, 11:30. The last of Rufus is going to be consumed today. Nothing more of Rufus after this afternoon. But this is what we're doing, folks. But more importantly, though, these are major seismic changes happening. Don't you see? Can you feel it happening? Watch this next one. Your work week just got reduced from 40 hours plus to 32 hours. And if you work more than 32 hours on a consistent basis, then the company that you're working for is going to be fined. They want people to spend more time with each other. Isn't that wonderful? Let's listen.
Shortening of standard work week from 40 to 32 hours and mandates overtime pay for work over 32 hours per week. This bill was passed after Trump submitted it to Congress. Employers will have to cut employees' work weeks at 32 hours. Exceeding 32 hours will constitute a fine if repeated violations occur. The 32-hour work week will be phased in over 4 years. Trump is trying to make America great again, to make people's lives better and provide a better quality of life for Americans by reducing the number of hours worked, increased the minimum basic wage, guaranteeing that your incomes won't go down. It's for your happiness. People shouldn't have to work 32 hours a week here. Trump said if people had more time off, more time to relax with their families, Trump is trying to make America great again, to make people's lives better, America.